Awesome. Thank you, Sindhu. Yeah, and as Sindhu mentioned, we want to make this fun, interactive. So it's no fun if we're just talking into a void. So make sure you turn on your cameras if you're comfortable. Unmute yourself if you have questions. There'll be time for Q&A. I know at the end of my session, and I think at many of the other sessions as well. So raise your hand. We want to make this interactive, as I mentioned. So want to introduce myself. I don't often get to connect with this part of the world, but I'm excited to be on this XDay in MENA today. I lead the research and insights platform here at QuestionPro. So that unveils everything from research features on the survey and reporting functionality of QuestionPro to the communities platform to services to also audience, which is our online sample. So I'm very excited to be here today and to show you all the wonderful things that we're doing in research and really to present where we see this business going over the next course of the years. So if you want to contact me, feel free to reach out. There's my email address. Connect with me on LinkedIn, follow me on Twitter. More than happy to have a conversation with you either after this or at any time in the future. So make sure you do that. Today, I want to talk about the research product showcase, show you some of the features that we released in Q3, and then some of the features that we're releasing in Q4, and then how we're thinking about this product line in 2021 and beyond. And then I'll try to leave some time for Q&A. If there's no time, like I said, feel free to reach out to me on any of the social channels. More than happy to answer any questions after this. But as Cindy mentioned, I know we have a jam-packed day, so I want to make sure I leave enough time for everybody else. So the research product roadmap. So I want to talk about some things that we released as part of this research roadmap. Really, some of the key areas were the cross-tabulation revamp. So we revised cross-tabulations in the platform, one, to make it a better look and feel, and also added some more functionality inside of the cross-tabulation. Really, the ability to now cross all of your questions. Before, it was a little tedious where you had to kind of select one by one. Now you can do that all in one shot. And we also made it easier, added more capability and more stats testing as well. We released Anchored Max Diff, which I'll talk more about in this a little bit later on in this presentation, so I won't belabor that point right now. In communities, we have PayPal rewards. So a lot of our customers wanted a cash option. PayPal does the trick there. Another exciting thing that we released in Q3 is digital focus group, so the online focus group. I'll talk more about this later on as well. And then instant answers is really our, I would say what we're considering is high frequency research. And I'll talk more about this later on as well. In development right now, there's Livecast, which is really a question type that allows you to capture video, and then that video through some different natural language processing and some machine learning is then has sentiment analysis applied to it. You can chop up the video and get clips and so forth. Gabor Granger pricing model. So we are actually releasing this month. So this is a feature that's hot off the press, and I'll show you this feature as well. Variable bucketing. So this is something that's in development where you're going to be able to essentially bucket responses and then use those in further analysis, whether that's on cross-tabulation or weighting. Cluster analysis, and then in the community section, we have community member direct message, which is really a good feature to more easily communicate directly with your members inside of the community. So I want to talk a little bit about some of those features I mentioned, but really talk about where we see research in 2021 and beyond, and where this is going. And you'll see how we're thinking about this in terms of product strategy as well. So really, it's around three main pillars. So we have longitudinal and what we call continuous discovery. This really is our communities, livecast, and video focus group are some of the newer features that we released to really match this initiative that we have going. I'll talk a little bit more about this coming up as well. And then we have high frequency research. So this is an instant answers product, and really the ability to do quickly field your surveys. So when you have a survey, right, you want to get it fielded in short amount of time as possible. Or if you have a question, you want to get that answered quickly. This is all around like instant answers, and then some other things that we're thinking about later on in 2021, which probably cover it the next XDay. But then pricing analytics. So we've really bulked up our pricing analytics in terms of adding Gabor Granger to also go along with Van Westendorp, some other budget scale questions. And then of course we have Max Diff and Conjoint, which also go into pricing and I would say product as well. So these are the three main pillars I think as we move forward, in addition to continuing to advance research. I think that's been one of our goals, is we want to continue to push the envelope really to allow our customers, every one of you guys on the call, to really be the hero. And we want to be able to guide you through that process. So everything that we do kind of stems from that main precipice, really. So when we talk about longitudinal and continuous discovery research, really what I'm referring to is the community management platform. So the ability to have a community is really part of this continuous discovery. For me, continuous discovery is all about seeking the desired outcome by conducting small research activities with customers frequently. So the frequency of that is really the key here. And the community management platform, because you have your customers inside of this community, you can reach out to them quickly. It's like, obviously, COVID is going on right now. What we found is the customers that have a community, we're in a better situation to continuously collect this feedback in terms of being able to reach out to them and get the sentiment, what they think about it, how this might affect their product. We saw this be really helpful for all of our clients that had this community management platform that could do that continuous discovery with their customers. So a lot of this is the customer communities that I mentioned. It's both really the mix of quant and qualitative research. So you have your surveys, you have that quantitative part, and then you have more of the qualitative aspect with some of the things I'll talk about next, with video discussions and a live cast, and then also the ability to do like topics and discussion board, things like that really help yield this continuous discovery process. So that's the community management platform that really rounds that out. So you can do these, frequently do research with your customer base. And then digital focus groups. So this is something that is super exciting. Obviously, this has been a little bit heightened because of COVID and the ability, or really the inability, to go and meet in person. And with things being in lockdown, being able to digitally meet customers and continue to do your research has been a key. So this is something that we release now. It's live in the platform. And really it's the ability to, co-create, ask those questions, and do these focus groups with your customers. You can recruit them in and do the discussion. This is an example of what one looks like here. There are really probably 3 to 4 main things to really touch on here. And that's obviously it's in real time. It's a live focus group. There's moderator functionality. You can get pre-profiled members inside of the focus group, and you can really target that as well. And then through natural language processing, we're able to, in real time, transcribe the actual words that are being said in the focus group. So it's not a transcript that you're going to get an hour or 2 hours after the group. It's right away. It's instant. As I'm talking, this would be transcribed. And what that allows you to do is to immediately star or favorite those particular comments that then can get filtered back later. Or that, hey, I need to follow up on this, after the session, or maybe later on in the discussion. Also, what we have is sentiment analysis around the different topics and things that are being said, along with the ability to do categorization as well. So those are different things that we have inside of the digital focus groups here. And then Livecast is another qualitative feature that we have that really allows you to select a question type that is inside of the survey platform, and it allows the member the respondent to really capture their response via video, like in this example here. And then there's that video feedback that they get through the respondent here. You can see the guy in this example, he's holding out the phone in front of him, and then he's getting that response via video. So this works good for mobile diaries, product type testing, And then you also have the machine learning and natural language processing as well in this that puts sentiment around what he's talking about, or what the person is saying inside of the video. Being able to tag these responses is key. So you can add the tags that are frequently mentioned inside of the response. And then also the sentiment around it is really key as well. Being able to view the clip and easily share that, put that into a report is something that we have. And then we're also going to be releasing facial recognition here and emotional recognition, so that you can get the true sentiment of also what their emotions are saying, as opposed to just what they're saying. So matching those two things as well. Moving on to high frequency research here. And really the main feature that we released here in high frequency research is the product we're calling Instant Answers. And what this is, it's a Slack integration that allows you to get census balance results within minutes. So an example of this is I can put a question in Slack with my answer options. I can select the end size. So let's say I want 100 responses. Through Slack, it'll instantly send that out, get those responses back, and then a graph will come back in Slack like you see here. These are real respondents. It's a real survey that goes out. Essentially, it's a one-question survey, quickly goes out, but it allows you to get these results back quickly, and that's really the high frequency of it. And this can be used in a number of different things, from product testing to ad testing to getting product names, like, what should we call this? What dessert do you prefer, sweet treat or flaky non-sweet pastry? So you can really get this quickly, and that's really the idea here, is the speed around it. So a survey response within minutes, Slack it's integrated into Slack, and then it's an easy setup and analysis. So we want this to be quick turn, high yield research in order for you to get your results quickly. Next, I want to spend some time on pricing analytics. And really what this is, adding to the suite that we already have. So we have the Gabor Granger price modeling here that we just released. So it's coming out this month. Again, this is one of those Q4 features that I mentioned. And really, if you've never used Gabor Granger before, what it really allows you to do is to find the maximum price each respondent is willing to pay. So for example, let's say there are eight different price points, and you would ask a series of questions like, would you buy this product at $100? And then if I say yes, you would ask, well, would you buy this product at $150? If I say no to that question, then the maximum price that I'm willing to pay is $100. And so what this will allow you to do is, over multiple responses, is you can measure the elasticity of demand to find revenue maximizing price points. For example, one of our clients recently used this. They're a video game developer. They use this to reset their pricing for add-on items inside of the game, right? So they had a series of different prices that they were wondering, and they were able to find the one that maximized the price point here. So this is really a good question type that goes along with another question type that we already have inside of the platform, but I want to mention it here because it really rounds out the suite of pricing analytics that we have. And that's Van Westendorp. So Van Westendorp is really should be used when you're unsure of what price points the market can bear. So if you don't know what price you want to charge for your product, this question type will allow you to get that optimal price point, really through asking 4 different questions around which price point is too expensive, what is expensive but maybe on the high side, what is cheap but it's a good value, or what's too cheap that you wouldn't consider this. And then through this, you'll be able to figure out the range of prices that are acceptable to the market. So we recently had a client in the consumer packaged goods industry that through this, they were able to confirm their suspicion that their pricing was too low. They were able to actually increase their prices because through this Van Westendorp pricing. So you're really able to find the acceptable price and then the acceptable range of prices as well. So max diff analysis, I'm sure many of you have heard of this. Obviously, it's about trade-offs. what do you like the most, what do you like the least. But what we did is we took this a step further and we introduced anchored max diff. So what anchored max diff allows you to do is really so if we take it back, in a traditional max diff, it's really a relative model. The respondents are really being asked in relative of what's there, but you don't get an absolute sense. So by taking this one step further in anchored max diff, you can really get the absolute importance of the attributes along with the relative importance. So when you combine these two things, you have a really powerful model that then you can really use inside of your research. So essentially, it's just asking a follow-up question, and there's a few different models that we can do here, but the traditional anchored max diff really is around considering the items shown here. Please choose what your must-haves. So with those must-haves and with the absolute importance and other things in there, by taking max diff one step further and doing the anchored max diff, you're able to get that absolute importance of, hey, are these attributes even important to my respondents? And you can get those values as well. So you really know what to focus on. And it's really just another data point for you there as well. And then rounding out this is conjoint analysis. So this is really around a set of attributes that matter most to a respondent, right? You're able to ask different attributes and then really have these trade-offs inside of different sets of these that will come up. So through these different trade-offs, we're able to see different attribute importance and market simulation to where you can see the relative importance and also the utility values. And you're able to see what combination of these different attributes make up the best possible product, right? The best profile, we would call it here inside of this conjoint experience. So through all of these different really models and question types that we offer, you're able to really hone in on not only product, but also pricing as well. So those different things is what I wanted to touch on with everyone today. I know we only have a few minutes, but if there's any questions, I'm happy to take those now, or obviously I'm happy to take those after this session as well.
You can either unmute yourself or you can raise your hand so we can come in and help unmute to take any questions.
I had a question. So the max diff that we saw earlier, what is what's the implication? What can we use it for? What are some applications? I was just wondering.
You can use max diff for a number like the example there was around credit cards, but let's say you want to use it to see what features are must-haves or that you need to put inside of your product or service, or you can use it to see what combinations of features or attributes. Really, it's a trade-off model, right? So you can see what people won't like most and what people like least, and get that share of preference. And then through that, if you do use the anchored max diff, you can get that absolute importance. So yeah, I may have these list of product features or attributes, but you don't really know, are those the most important things? And that's really what the absolute model would give you through.
So you make it the absolute model by adding must-have. Which of these is a must-have, right?
Exactly. Yep. Okay. And we make it easy for you inside of the question type. Essentially, you just say, yeah, I want to do anchored max diff, select that on, and then you can choose that question that you want by asking those must-haves. And then all of that flows back into the modeling as well. So I would recommend trying it out. I'd be happy to help you out after this if you have any more additional follow-up questions.
All right. That's great. Thanks for the clarification. I'll let you know.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. If there's no other questions, I will stop sharing here and pass it over to the next presenter. So thank you, everybody. Really appreciate your time.